attacked. Folks, I've been attacked. Eddie Radosevich of Sooner Scoop took a shot at me and Michael Hawkins yesterday, and some people on Friday night on his own show who may be questioning whether John Mateer is the right guy to be the Sooner quarterback in 2026. I want to know who's going to come to my defense. It's Big Monday.
Good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football's Big Monday. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you know college football, you know you're in the right place. Here with my co-host, Big Mike Boganowski, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share for everybody to have fun with this one. What's up there, big dog?
What's up, man? My thing says I'm muted. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you. It does not show muted here.
Yeah.
Not showing muted here. What up, boys? What up, boys? How's everybody doing? Goated, Lone Wolf. I may not be able to keep an eye on the chat as much. I am going to be going ahead and driving at the Starlink roll. I'm trying to get back to Oklahoma. So we're going to talk and talk about everything that's going on, but I'm mostly be listening, not looking at the computer screen because I don't want to wreck. But, you know.
Bro, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy that wrecks on live TV or live.
That would be really crazy, right? Wouldn't that be some shit?
You don't want to be that guy.
No, I don't.
Stay away from the chat. Stay away from the chat.
Yeah, you can call out the chats when you want to. You know, we're probably not going to put them on the screen, but you can call them up if you want to. Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, listen.
First of all, I need to be caught up on what happened with.
Okay, so we'll go there first, I guess. Yeah, listen. With Eddie, and by the way, I'm a fan of Eddie D and Stoya, and I certainly like those guys a hell of a lot more than I like, you know, the boys were a Sooner Insider, or Oklahoma Insider, whatever you want to call it. But it was weird because on Friday night I watched their show on where they do the Crimson Corner or whatever, and they read all the messages in the off the board or whatever, you know.
Did they choose one of your questions?
No, I didn't. I don't fucking post in that shit. You crazy?
You got a burner, bro.
No, I don't. No burners. You're missing the point here. The point being is, so Eddie was a little crotchety right from pretty much the get-go, right? You know, a lot of the questions were coming hard and fast about John Mateer and him being kind of crappy. And he didn't appreciate it, I guess. You know, it is what it is. But a couple of times he got pissed off. And then at one point, he said that he not only did he feel like it was crazy that people were saying the things that they were saying, but that he felt like John was, quote, great. Or a chance to be great. It's a little wild.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard, a chance to be great.
Chance to be great. Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, he was being very well. Now the next day, so the way that somebody from West Virginia, obviously Michael Hawkins in West Virginia visiting, sounds like he's probably going to be a Mountaineer. They want him pretty bad. I think they're offering him a decent amount of money. Just the rumors that you're hearing, right? Sounds like it's close, if it's not a done deal. But somebody had made a comment on Twitter about He couldn't even beat out John Mateer, who was trash.
Yeah.
And which Big Michael or Mike Senior, he answered that back, and he was nicer than I would have expected. But he was like, make no mistake, he's got plenty of talent. He basically said, I think what a lot of people think is, so the money that they invested in Mateer was never going to see Michael get on the field, right? Well, of course, people come back at him on that shit, and they're assholes because it's Twitter. And I I said, the people that know. There's a lot of people that understand what you're saying or whatever. And I was talking to Mike Senior, and that it sucked that he's gone, and Malik as well. But I was wishing him luck and things like that. Well, then people are kind of still coming back at him saying that, well, why the money? What I mean, they didn't play Jaden Otten. They paid him a bunch of money, about maybe 1/3 of what they paid, and I don't even think it was 1/3 of probably what they paid John Mateer, but whatever. In any event, I came back and I said, well, truth is, I said, he was being nice to you guys. I won't be. I was like, to me, as I've said before, he did not want to put Michael Hawkins into the football game for fear he wouldn't be able to put Mateer back in. He ended up going back and forth with other people on Twitter, nicely, mostly nicely. And then Eddie jumps in there and he has a LOL, under my tweet, which, and again, I like Eddie. He's one of my guys. I think that their show is good. I think he's funny, you know. But now I kind of question what's going on with his, you know, quarterback evaluation. Anyway, he says, LOL, and I went back at him and was like, oh, hey, Eddie, yeah, I saw what you said on Twitter, or no, on your show last night or whatever, about Mateer being great. And I was like, gotta tell you, that take, let's just say I have my doubts. And I was laughing about it. And then he comes back and says, I like Mike. I wish him well and think he'll be very good at his next stop, wherever it is. But I think it's laughable that you think that Mateer would have went back in when healthy if Michael would have gotten in. In other words, kind of taking a shot at Hawkins. And I was like, I'm sure you're right. Laughing, a bunch of laughing emojis. I'm sure you're right. But then I ended it with, maybe you should go and get a refresh on your LASIK. So I took a shot back. I
Yeah.
just think,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Y'all boys. I mean, who else is left? Who else? Who at in the Oklahoma?
oh shit, everybody, fuck them.
In the Oklahoma pod, Twitter, Oklahoma football recruiting space, who have you not pissed off or gotten out?
Well, I probably pissed them all off. I don't know the thing is like, why? How come everybody else can have their opinion about stuff and I can't? Be my
I mean,
question.
hey, do you get people got their opinions a lot? Well, I mean, I don't understand why. Well, you think it's just you? You think they're coming at you because you got an opinion?
No, I'm just
Oh.
saying I can't have an opinion here. I mean, no, but
I
and
mean,
like
yeah, you can have
crazy
your
of him
opinion,
coming
but
up here or anything like
it's
that.
just like he can have his opinion to put a LOL up
Sure he
under there
can.
because he thinks it's funny.
Sure he can. Sure he can. I didn't say he couldn't. I didn't say he couldn't. I laughed about it. I will repeat this. I like Eddie and George. I think they're good. I certainly like them more than Parker and Brandon. You know that,
That's
right?
hilarious. That's hilarious.
What's the chat saying? Read some of this shit out.
I
You gotta
mean,
do
there's just there hasn't been much, man. Um, Gojid, let's talk some shit. um, you go by happy portal season from Brandon Snake. Sooner bureaucracy from Sooners for Life.
Sooner bureaucracy.
Yeah. Bug the Rogue.
Huh?
Jason, don't sugar. Hold on. Brandon Snake said, Jason, don't sugarcoat shit. That's why they don't like you. I
Huh.
mean, well, Brandon, there's two. He don't sugarcoat shit, but man, he be struggling on some takes now.
What?
Hey, yeah, I've been waiting all weekend for this. Ready?
What's that?
I want to hear what your thoughts are on that Indiana Hoosier football team, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, they look good.
You
They
know
look
what it
really good.
is, bro.
Yeah,
Them
but I didn't.
motherfuckers.
But nobody said anything about me saying about Miami could have had a very good chance of
No, no,
winning.
no,
It
no,
wouldn't
no, no, no.
surprise me at all.
We were talking about last week how you said Indiana isn't good and they're gonna get beat by
I
Alabama.
said they were untested. I didn't say isn't good.
Untested. Oh my
I
god.
said they're coached very well. Even I've said I just don't think that they have the talent that should be able to keep up with Alabama, and I will stick. I'm sticking to that. But I mean, they're coached really well, and they definitely looked. I mean, they
I already
defensively
told you,
played
bro, their
well.
defense is the real deal, bro. Their defense is legit.
Serious.
They're a good team,
Yeah.
and you just they're let me
You
tell you
got to.
something.
You definitely. What you have to do is be very efficient if you're going to play against them. You better run the football because they're going to.
Dude, they run the fucking rock, bro.
They run the rock. No doubt about it.
And they hit that little play action with Mendoza. It was
Oh
just
yeah,
beautiful. Just
dude.
beautiful.
14-16, and they have three tutties. You didn't have to do shit.
Hey, here goes another one. Goaded. I don't know how you can say Indiana sucks. I don't understand how you can say it. They're
I
out
didn't
here
say
putting
Indiana sucks. I
no
didn't say Indiana
Goaded.
sucks, folks.
KJ Goaded said it in the chat. In the chat,
Okay.
KJ Goaded said IU sucks. Them motherfuckers are putting belt to ass to a lot of good teams. A
They have,
lot of
but
good
well, I
teams.
wouldn't say a lot of good teams. A few good
Lately,
teams.
lately, they're
Three,
putting belt to
three.
ass to a lot of good
They've played
teams.
three good teams. They've played three good teams all year, which was the argument that I was making that why I thought Alabama would win, and
Right.
I still think Oklahoma would have beat them if we had a better quarterback. But I got to say,
They've
they're
been a tough game.
the way that they play offense and what their quarterback does, man, you'd love to see something like that at OU right now, right? You know, not having to, I mean, they ran the ball 50 times, brother. 50 times.
And was gashing their ass. If
Oh, they
it's
were.
broke, don't fix it, bro. If it's broke, don't fix it.
I'm with you, man. I'm 100% with you.
That's my
I love
problem
the
with
way
a lot of these
they
coordinators today.
stick
They
with it.
cannot
Stick with
not
it.
pass the ball. They cannot not pass the
If
ball.
you're going
Same thing
to,
in the NFL. It drives me nuts. You know, I just like
I've
that.
never understood why
Sorry,
you wouldn't stick
sorry,
with
motherfucker.
something like that. Yeah. I've never understood why when you hit somebody with something and they can't stop it, why you would not make them fucking stop it before you stop doing it.
Yeah.
Wild. Wild, I tell you. But
My
it is what
take
it
is
is.
fix that. My Indiana hot take is they're nothing special, just old. Are you saying they're taking the BYU approach? They just got older players?
Yeah, I think they are. I think yeah. They are all like 23, 22, 23.
I
A lot of
mean,
them are. There's
I
something
mean,
to be said for that. And they've been with them for a long time.
there's
You know,
yeah. I mean,
continuity
you,
matters. I'll give you that.
you yeah. But hey,
Last two
if
national champions. Last two national
you,
champions have a lot of experience and a lot of continuity in their rooms.
yeah, that's a good point, Goaded. IU is good. I just can't stand the Krispy Kreme glazing of Johnny Come Lately by the media. They're always going to do that, dude. That's
Oh,
a
of course.
given. Bro. That is a
True that.
given.
Yep.
Absolute given.
Facts. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Well, and Oklahoma gets started with its portal stuff. You know, you get Hayden, the Hayden kid from Florida, big kid. I mean, you've got more to go with that tight end room because it's empty. Aside from what one scholarship guy, that not much expectation there. They got a
Yeah,
lot of work to do. But
we got
I
a
guess going back to what I was saying about like, I mean, how many people are really of the belief that there's a lot of quarterback talent in the portal, and it may not be there for much longer now. But are we good here? Can you
what do you
really
mean?
sit there and say that we're good to go with John Mateer and whoever's in the room to make it? I mean, to make us believe that you're really all in at this point to try to win an Natty in 2026.
I mean, who knows, man? I don't know. I don't know. I do know this. If
Would you feel good about it? Do you feel good about the situation, Big
What do
Dog?
you mean? Right now with material quarterback?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel bad about it, but what I do feel bad about is if for some reason material goes down, well, who do we got? That's what I feel bad about.
No wit. You don't like wit, huh?
I mean, I don't know. I've barely seen him. I don't know.
Jet, do you think that true freshman Bentley is going to come in and save the day? If
I don't
Johnny,
think
if old
not
Johnny,
not against Bo and nothing against Bo Bentley, but I don't think you stand a very good chance of any freshman in the SEC coming in and doing
I
work.
think it's a tough ask, bro.
Hell yeah, big tough ass. We just got another old lineman too. Western Kentucky O line Caleb Nitta. Sounds like he's a
Okay,
multiple inside guy through multi position guard center type dude.
love it, love it. You need depth there, and you may need a starter there. Like
Yeah.
unless it's going to be Ozida at guard and Michael going ahead and staying at center.
What do you
But you got to have depth either way.
hey old Ben G, what do you think about the slander that your boy Parker Livingstone is getting right now from Texas about how
Yeah.
they kicked him
He's been
out?
one of the ones slandering them.
So
He's been one of the ones slandering them. What do you mean?
huh? They pretty much they're all the fans are going at him because he said he wanted Parker Livingstone essentially said he wanted to stay, but they told him to go. And everybody's making it seem like he was about money and didn't get the money, so he left. But Parker saying they
Sark
made
ran him
him
off,
leave.
huh? Sark ran him off with the rest of them.
Yeah. And now he'll be in Norman today.
Nice. He's been in Indiana the weekend, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was at Indiana this weekend, yeah. I mean, that's a good sign if he leaves Indiana. Indiana's on a heater right now. If he
Yeah,
if
I
he
mean,
left
for them to
Indiana
not
without
for them to not get him to locked up before he left is
oh
kind
yeah,
of
dude. Yeah,
surprising.
that's the goal, right? But now it's our
I mean,
turn.
you don't want to let him leave town, do you? Yeah, I don't know. But let's go back to what I was saying. How many of the folks in the chat and let us know what you think in there? Do you think that we're good to go at quarterback with John Mateer? Let's even add to that a healthy John Mateer. Is he good? Is that all you need for Oklahoma to make a real run at the SEC and national championships? I question that. I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I think not. And I wonder why you would allow this much talent. First off, I feel like Hawkins should not have went anywhere. But I understand why he left by all means. But, you know, wrong guy left. That being said, you're not going to bring anybody in it doesn't sound like there's any quarterbacks that they're trying to get in here to compete with him. I mean, we're just status quo here on a guy that had 14 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think
I look at
I
this like
think it's a
with
little.
TP right here said he's like Bogue. That's an untold story that players are often told to get into the portal. Like I don't disagree with that. I agree that there's a lot of players that are getting told to pound sand, and I
Yeah,
get it. And a lot of times it's the school telling the player, have a spot here. Just say you're going to the transfer portal. just to like make it look like you were processed, right? But now you're starting to see, because that's always just kind of the narrative that it was, right? Like, I'm going in the transfer portal and nothing ever
Well,
was
yeah, they
talked
don't want
about.
to look like they suck. They're not going to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that you
that's what I'm saying.
processed.
That's the normal, right? The institution, the
Yeah,
school is letting these players save face, right?
yeah, yeah.
You're gonna see that change now. You're gonna start seeing that change because
Why?
now
Why do you think that?
players are firing back. There's players firing back and telling people what really happened. Like, I was just reading one on the Topeka kid, Trey Richardson at Vandy. I was just reading something about him today, and then you see the Livingstone one, and there's just a couple other things players firing back saying, "Hey, it wasn't about the money. It was this and that, and I didn't want to leave." You know what I mean? You're gonna start seeing that.
They're
So
telling
it's
me
gonna
I'm
be
not in their plans and shit like that.
yeah, yeah, you're gonna start seeing some healthy back and forth, which will pull the facade off the transfer portal, and how it's always kind of the school telling the kid to leave,
We've been
which
saying
isn't the
that for a
case.
long time.
It's not always the case, right? And that's kind of what they want you to believe or whatever. But yeah, there's gonna be some interesting juicy stuff coming out here in the next couple of days.
Well, this is why, people. This is exactly why we're always so pro athlete on this channel, anyway. Like I've been telling people that are complaining about it. I mean, for years now at this point on the show, if you come in complaining about what the athletes can and are doing as far as going into the portal, and you're making it about that, you're blaming the wrong dudes. You're blaming the wrong people because they haven't made a single rule. And that I'm not saying that it's every one of the kids. I know that some make decisions to leave, and some are getting bad advice. We know that. We are aware and we know. But that doesn't mean that all of them are bad and all of them are just money hungry and any of that other stuff. And I think it's pretty screwed up that a lot of times that's what coaches do when they don't get somebody in the portal, or they lose somebody to the portal. They get bitchy about it and be like, these kids are just all about money. We're not gonna buy players like BK said, about Dominic Williams. That they're not in the business of buying players, and players want to be bought. Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah,
You just got your coach by saying that you're going to buy the shit out of players. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so and in the end, it's just the hypocrisy is wild, right? The hypocrisy is wild because for years, I mean, you were a Division One athlete. I mean, your scholarship was what, year to year? You had to renew year to year, did you not?
Yeah,
They still
yeah,
like it that way, and they pretend that they don't because they want to be able to say, "Hey, look, we don't really have you in our plans. You should probably jump in and we'll help you out." But you know, look, and I'm not saying anything about Oklahoma in particular here. I'm not. We know that, but we've even heard it's not been a big secret at OU that a majority of the guys that get in the portal from year to year over the last 2 or 3 years have been told that they probably should.
Mhm. Let's look at this right here. Gray Gray. This is a good point by Gray Gray. The problem is that the way John plays, he will most likely get hurt again. We need an insurance policy, a solid backup.
So, Greg, you don't believe that Whit Neubauer or Bo Bentley or maybe Jet is the guy? That's not your solid backup.
That's what he
There's a no.
says.
There's one no.
That's what he says.
Yep.
Why would
There's
a
one
backup
no.
QB come to OU? Mr. B. Oh, money.
Why would what?
Why would a backup quarterback come to OU? Money.
Yeah, you have to. And you have to see. This is the problem that they had with Dylan Gabriel. When they brought Dylan in, they promised him the job. Once they
Hmm.
let everybody know they had promised him the job, then the next guy that you got was what's his name? That was he loved the guy and all, but he wasn't good. Um, and I mean, you're not going to get starter caliber quarterbacks if you have a starter entrenched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me read this. So
Not without a lot
let
of
me
loot.
let me read this little last little thing on the Parker Livingstone. What he put out there on Twitter. He said,
Okay.
"Never in a million years did I think I would be going into the portal looking for a new home. Some things are out of my control, such as the reality of the ever-changing landscape of college football. Emptied my tank every day for this great university, my teammates, and all the good folks of Texas. Grateful." I mean, you can. I don't necessarily think it was about money, Benji, but it's kind of implied. If they would have paid him a reasonable amount, I feel like he would have stayed, right? Like he didn't say it was about
Were
money,
they trying to
but
cut his money or what? And here's the
yeah,
thing, though.
100%.
We're talking about the program that uses 15, 20 Lamborghinis outside DKR for all their damn recruiting stuff. They're pitching with money and then trying to take it away. Don't do that.
They said T Boomer said they kicked him out to pay Cam.
I mean, come on. Are they getting Cam? Is that what everybody's assuming at this point?
I
That
don't
he's
know.
going to Texas?
I kind of felt like Texas Tech was in the pole position, or not
Are they starting to
A&M.
trend
Sorry,
in
Texas
that
A&M.
direction?
Texas A&M. A&M.
Or
My
A
bad.
and M?
Yeah, that's who it
And
was. Here's a good
well, I know
point by Long.
Tech is willing to put the money out there, but they
Here's
haven't
a,
developed anything there.
here's a good point by Lone Wolf. How's Mateer supposed to get better if you don't have another quarterback on a roster to push him? Competition means a lot.
It does mean a lot, but here's another thing about that too. Man, his what we know is his mechanics are bad. He's been with the same group of guys, Kuzieski and Buckle, for 3 years. This is year four. I mean, if your mechanics are still like that, that's why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I don't agree with Eddie Radosevich that he might be great. I mean, I would settle. I would settle for just competent at this point, not a walking damn turnover. Guys, if you look at what is going on in this offense over the last year, it's not. They were still what at best out of pretty much every offensive category in the SEC. They were somewhere between 12 and 14 in all of them. I mean, that's bad. That ain't good. Not when you have the number one defense. And I mean, what do they end up looking like in defensive numbers overall in the country if they've got a serviceable offense that stays on the field some and puts points on the board? Man, I'll tell you this. I hope that they are making a change in the way that they play offense. You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's the
USC Southern Cal might have a good shot to land Cam Coleman too. I can see that being a good fit.
I mean, yeah, Lincoln knows what he's doing with freaking receivers and quarterbacks, no doubt.
Yeah. Did you see? Speaking of USC, did you see they landed Jaden Gibson or poor the guy that left the receiver that left OU?
I had not seen that. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm not. Nothing really surprises me there. You know,
Yeah,
it's when they get defensive guys that are good that's surprising. But
yeah,
I couldn't tell you that I'm surprised about offensive weapons, thinking that USC might be a spot for them. And
yeah,
especially after you find out what Caleb Williams was making them when he was there in NIL, he was making a shit ton of money. So,
yeah.
but I mean, it does suck though. Well, whatever, man. I think that Lincoln's in a position where he's got to find a way to overcome. I mean, he lost his coordinator. I haven't heard anything else about PK possibly going there, but losing Danton Lynn, their defense was better. It wasn't, it still wasn't great, and They're not putting up the amount of points that they need to put up, and they can't hold anybody off. I mean, I think that Lincoln's in trouble. He's gonna have to find a way pretty damn quick there, Bo.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you what. I don't know how much Hayes Fawcett's. I don't know how much that dude gets paid or whatever, but that dude is firing off some graphics and tweets, bro. He got to have a staff. Like every time I look at my phone, bro, there's like 2 new tweets, 3 new tweets from this dude.
That's the first place that they call him, man. I mean, he made a business for himself and out on 3 pays, but
Yeah, dude.
because they know that they're gonna call him.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't. That dude must have like a factory going on, multiple computers just making graphics, pre-made, ready to fire out. Like I'm surprised he doesn't ever messes one up and like sends
Well,
out
and a
the
lot
wrong.
of them now, he's pretty much made them pretty. He's made them pretty, cookie cutter at this point. They're not like they used to be, where
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But at some point, you'd figure like he would mess some shit up and like send out the wrong graphic or put right the wrong team or
he's
something
not
on
Parker
there.
and Brandon, bro. He's not Parker and Brandon.
Say a dude like this dude. Look, man, it's just who's this guy right here? Now you got some dude from Penn State just committed to Clemson. Dabo jumping in the portal madness, huh? Dabo getting in the portal combat.
Did he get 3 or 4 guys last year? I mean,
Yeah,
at this point, we're just. I mean, I was talking to, I think, Legend. I was talking to Legend, and it's like, man, he's a deep shit. They're kind of mass exiting out of there, and so you better get your ass in the portal, because right now they were pretty much in free fall mode for a big part of the season last year. And to get beat by that Penn State team, as bad as they were, no coach, their coach gets fired early, and you still get beat by them. I mean, bro, I'm just saying, Dabo has said there's a lot of rumbling about Clemson right now, about what might be about to happen.
look at see here's what I'm talking about with these players telling their side of the story. So Jaden Gibson, the OU receiver that just signed with South Carolina,
Yep.
right? Here's what he just said. The only reason OU and I parted ways was because of my injuries. Anything else being spread is false information from people who don't know any details, just what they see on their phones.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
who's saying otherwise, though? That's the
I don't
crazy
know.
part.
I haven't seen much. I don't know. Maybe he's seeing it.
If we're
Maybe he
hating
just.
on the dude freaking blew up his leg and had a setback last year and didn't get to play. If we're upset at Jaden Gibson for for that, then get outside and touch grass, man. Breathe a little air.
Yeah. Yep.
Because, and that's the other thing. This need for some fans, and it's not a lot of them, but it's loud. It's a loud section of them that they feel like they have to take a fucking shot at all these kids, and they think it's helpful too. By the way, with the recruiting process, that they're
Yeah.
fucking talking shit to them all, whether they don't come to OU or as they leave OU, they gotta run their damn mouth. I think it's stupid, and that's what I was. Yeah, I was surprised that I wasn't any more pointed about what was being said about Hawkins the other day, and to his dad of all people.
Who said
Like
what?
that Ronnie Crimson dude. He's a jerk,
Yeah, he's a
talking
slut.
shit.
Yeah, that's all he does. He's a troll.
Yeah, assholes, just assholes. And then I was surprised that even I was surprised that Eddie Rado said what he said, knowing that his dad was in that thread.
Who'd you say said it? You broke up.
What do you mean?
What'd you just say? What was your last statement right
I
there?
said I was surprised that Radosevich was saying
Oh,
what he said about it being laughable.
yeah.
With knowing that Mike Senior was in that thread.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I don't know.
commenting in that thread. I mean, not saying that you're not allowed to have your opinions, but I'm just saying, like, what's the point of that? You say it's laughable, and then you're like, I think he's good, and he has a chance to be really good, or I like Mike, and I think he's got a chance to be good. That's not saying he's good. I mean, you could pick that apart if you wanted to. Again, I'm a fan of Eddie Radosevich, but I just thought it was weird that, and he's certainly prickly about the mature conversation. Period. Right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I hated the fact. I don't know. I think Mike Hawk is going to be really good, dude. And he's it's a shame that, that he left Oklahoma. It's it hurts a little bit, bro, because I liked that 2024 class, man, and I wish
It's
obviously
coming
my
apart at this point. The 2024 classes, there's not a whole lot of them left.
yeah, and but there was just I don't know, just a bond that all the players and the parents, we kind of came in and did all the stuff together or whatever. So it sucks, man. I don't like it. I really like Hawk, man. I think he's going to be really good. He's about to light it up in the Big 12 if he goes to West
If he goes
Virginia.
to West Virginia, I would say this. Yeah, Rich Rod's system will
Yeah,
work.
tailor
He'll
made.
do really well in that.
Yeah, it's tailor made, bro. It's tailor made, and
Kind of.
it's a good
You
move
think
if
of
that's
Pat
what.
White with a better arm, man. Pat White with a better arm.
Yeah, yeah, dude. It'll be. Well, there's. I mean, I just don't. There's a world where he absolutely just tears it up, dude. Like for real. Like, and
No doubt.
this. I wish nothing but the best for him, man. Mike Hawkins and his brother Malik are great kids. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
His mom, Mr. and Mrs. Hawkins are great people, great
Yeah,
friends. It's I can't be mad at them, bro. They just want to get out there and get a shot to play. You know what I mean? And go ball out. That's what every kid wants, man. At the end of the day,
right.
and I just wish nothing but the best for them, man.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, and that's what I basically said whenever I was responding to what he said. I was like, you know,
Yeah.
the real ones know what the real ones know the truth about them, about both of them, and it sucks. It sucks that Oklahoma that they're not going to be at Oklahoma anymore, either one. And I think that OU made the wrong choice when it came to the quarterbacks last year and this year now.
Yeah, Rich Rod Hammer said Rich Rod will get the most out of Hawkins. West Virginia stacking up, lone wolf. Um,
I mean, look,
Rich. So the
Richard's
Zofix.
a good offensive coach, man. He
Hold
is.
on, listen to this one. Zofix said he'll get held back by Zach Alley. Pat White had an arm. Gray 812.
It
I don't
ain't like
know.
Michael Hawkins' arm.
I don't know if you have. I don't know if you've seen like some of the videos that are out there, but
Yeah. Go,
uh,
if you're still being a hater on Michael Hawkins, folks,
Young
better
Hawkins
go look
been
at KJ
now.
Daniels' video. Go look
Young
at
Hawkins
12
been the
straight minutes of dots.
Yeah. This is a great you know, this is a great text by TP. Jason, with proper training to improve Hawkins fundamentals, he could have a breakout year at West Virginia.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. I mean, but he could have also done that at Oklahoma.
Are you talking about do you know why his dad left OU when he went to school here? I think he went to the league. That's why he
Yeah,
left.
he did. And it was, and you know what? People that are hating on his box for what he had to do for you know his story. You know what he had to go through to get to Oklahoma. If you're
Yeah.
if you're not a fan of the Hawkins family, I gotta wonder why. I gotta wonder why.
Yeah.
It
Well,
just
yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
make sense.
might just be hating, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, people are haters, bro. People are haters, and there's
Yeah.
certainly the people that bring up the Kent State game all the time. What the knocked the rust off game that he had 4 touchdowns in and led 5 straight scoring drives. We haven't seen that from either of the other quarterbacks at Oklahoma for the last, hell, I don't even know if Dylan Gabriel did that. I get it, Kent State. And mind you, think about the FCS game against Illinois State when Oklahoma was only up 21-3 at the end of 3 quarters with John Material. I mean, let's just be real. You can say things about Kent State, the Kent State game, and like people want to blame him for Keontae Lewis running into the wall. Come on, man.
Greg clarified right here. He said, sorry, I meant to be sarcastic. Pat White had an arm. Yeah, he was saying Pat White couldn't throw the ball is what he's saying.
He really couldn't.
He said what?
He wasn't a great passer.
Yeah,
But he was a dynamic player. Pat White was a bad dude, bro.
Yeah, he did numbers. I'd have to go back and watch film. I
I
remember.
can tell you this. I had nightmares about Pat White for a while after he beat the shit out of Oklahoma in that Fiesta Bowl. The brakes. Beat the brakes off.
All right, so let's talk portal, right?
Yep.
We got a big tight end. Right?
Yeah, like him.
Got a big tight end, right? That's a big son bitch. Seems like a
Need a
dude
few
that
more.
he's a dual type tight end, big enough to block. We've seen him running some routes, catching some balls. How many more tight ends do you think we need?
Well, so let me just clarify something real quick, and I haven't seen it yet. So I haven't seen Ivan Carry on in the portal yet. Right? Is he in the portal?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's been basically expected that he was going to get it, but I've been hearing that they might be moving him to tight end because of his size and speed at that side, and he can block a little bit. He's a big kid. So let's say that that's correct, then you need probably at least 2 more, right?
Yeah, probably need a couple more.
1 or 2 more. Yeah, I think you need at least a couple more, and you may need 3 more. But it sounded to me like the Tulsa kid that was at Indiana a year ago was. I've heard that there's a good possibility there that they've made him a good offer. I don't know about the New Mexico State guy. It sounds like he's not. It sounds like he may be going elsewhere. But I mean, there's other dudes. I mean, there's guys out there. But I think that I don't know. My question is how aggressive is Nagy being? We don't really know because he's not going to really just put it all out there what he's trying to do. Here's the thing. I think that people are mistaking a lack of information with a lack of work.
Listen, I think people expect Oklahoma to be like Texas Tech right now in Indiana, just signing everybody right now. Like every
they have $30 million in NIL cash. I'm telling you that.
And homeboy from Texas Tech doubled down. Like we're just getting started or some shit like that the other day. Like
yeah, well, that's good because you aren't good in the playoff there, bud.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, I mean, I seen a prediction for the Colorado State running back. Little smaller type dude, quick. I like it. I like what I saw from his tape.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, man. We're up to 2 right now, right? We just got the tight end and the O lineman.
Yep. And then if you're assuming that they're going to get the running back, we've heard multiple times that the Tulsa tight end is a pretty good shot at getting him. And he left Indiana because he wasn't getting enough playing time, but he lit it up at Tulsa, and that's a bad team, But he was really good. Yeah. So, what we'll do on Wednesday, I'll definitely have Mr. Mason come back in and give us another update. We could have him on this morning if we need. If I send him a link right now, I'd have to stop though and do that. But we can. I mean, we've got time. We haven't been on for very long.
Yeah, somebody. What have you? Is Joe John? Does he? I ain't heard nothing official on Joe John. I
He
heard nothing
gone.
official.
He's fired. No, he's out. That's been announced.
By who?
The school announced it, or it's been on every one of these.
Yeah,
Every one
but
of
I'm
the
saying it, I haven't seen anything official from like.
stories. The stories that are being written say he's out, and
I, I
I
mean,
mean,
does
I
that
thought
make
it was.
it?
It sounded to me
Was
like
that,
it was announced. He's gone. He's definitely
I,
gone.
dude, I don't know if that makes it like if somebody writes a story on it. Like I don't know, man.
Definitive story that he's been let go. A definitive story that he was let go.
By who?
Every one of the quote insider guys, every one of them. Uh, we could go look at the Tulsa World and in the Oklahoman, I guess, but go look at on three. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure he's out. I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the worst kept secret in the world if they haven't announced it. And the other thing is they're talking about. I know for sure that George Stoya had written a story saying not only is he gone, and in fact, I think they were talking about it on that Friday show that he's gone, and that the possibility is that Emmett Jones may be gone too because his contract is up at the end of the month and they may not renew it.
Yeah, and
There's a
I
lot
don't
of
think
people that have been
I
calling for
don't.
that too.
There's no way they get rid of Emmett Jones. There's no way.
I think it'd be crazy to myself, but there's a lot of people that are saying these things. And
They're just
I
they're
even
just
put that
putting
in
they're
the
putting
description. So
they're putting
because I
two and
want to know
two
how many
together.
people have apologized to Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates for the shit we were saying about them.
No, I think people are just putting two and two together that his contract runs out at the end of the month and hasn't been renewed. What you got to realize is that the Board of Regents has to approve those contracts, and guess what's happening at the end of the
I
month?
realize that. I'm telling you what I heard from those guys that are saying that there's a possibility that he may be next, that there may be more upheaval among the offensive staff, which, when you look at the fact that they have not produced in the last couple of years. Now, I'm not saying it's Emmett's fault in any way, shape, or form. I'm not one of the people that talks about Coach Big Bill like it's his fault that things have been the way they have been. Um, I mean, I mean, shit. He's got a hell of a resume that says he knows what the hell he's doing. But at, I mean, if you think that, I mean, if you're not going to fire Arbuckle, which they're not, and you usually these, position coaches are the first to go. They have to take the heat for a lot of that, right? Sometimes you lose a position coach for that very reason. That's all I'm saying. Hello?
So, like the last thing I see right here, and this is from your folks at OU Insider, is says
Your
sources
folks
Finley not
that
expected to return to Oklahoma staff in 2026. Right? Like I'm not seeing anything definitive that's saying Joe John's out. He's been let
chat, where
go.
have you seen it at? Let us know what you see in the chat. What have you seen? Where did you hear it at?
Dude, I just searched. I just searched Twitter. I searched. I searched on three and I searched on three, and I don't see. He's like he's out.
Okay. Well, he's out. He's out. Maybe they haven't officially announced it. But if you look at the tea leaves, they haven't allowed him in on any of the meetings with tight end guys if they're trying to get out of the portal. He's had nothing to do with their recruitment or any of that other kind of stuff. He's basically been taken out of the loop of anything going on with the recruiting stuff because he hasn't produced there either. And wait a minute, they're trying. Did you not see on any of those things all the candidates for his job?
Yeah, but that's just
He's got candidate lists on all of those. They wouldn't be putting out a candidate list if he hadn't been fired.
dude. They did that for BV last year. What are you talking about? Of course they would. Of course they would speculate.
Bro, they're being told that he's gone.
I
In fact,
understand
I'm
that,
pretty
but
sure it was announced, man. I'm
listen,
telling
I
you.
don't disagree with you. The only thing I'm saying is I have not seen anything definitive from the university or from like a Pete Nakos or a freaking whatever those dudes are. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it feels like we have, but I have. It feels like I have. I mean, I'm. You're
If
making
you
me second guess that. You're making me second guess it, and I can't look it up right now. But
yeah, I love it. I love that fact that you can. You just got to trust your boy. That I'm searching the
I don't
interweb
trust you.
right
I
now
think
for.
that you're not looking hard enough.
Bro, I'm on OU Insider right now, and I just went through Twitter.
But are you watching the? Look at the comments to see what people are saying about it right now.
They say he's gone. They say he's gone, but I can say that too. All I'm saying is I have not seen it from a source like definitively saying Joe John Finley is out. He's not there, right? Like nobody's saying it's like the rumors he's out. He's no longer with the team. Like there's nothing like that
The
says,
rumor? I haven't heard a rumor. I haven't heard them saying it's a rumor that he's
dude,
out. I've heard them say. I've seen them say he's gone.
hold on, man. Let me go. Let me read this. Let me go back and read what I just read. I gotta find it now. Find it again.
But I mean, so what do you and you folks in the chat? Are you guys of the opinion that Emmett isn't getting it done?
So here's
Over
this is
and mind you, there's been a lot of injuries in there. But are we of
there's
the
no
opinion
way.
that it's his fault?
I don't know, man. I just don't see how you can
I think
sit
it's a
here.
wild. It's a wild thought. It's a wild thought.
This is from your boy Parker. Sources: Finley not expected to return to Oklahoma staff in 2026. Right,
When was that? When was that,
the first.
bro? It's
So Oklahoma tight ends Joe John Finley isn't
the
expected to be
ninth.
retained by the program in 2026.
Okay.
Sources confirmed to OU Insider.
Okay.
That's not definitive to me.
Sources confirmed it to OU Insider that he's not coming back.
Not expected. Isn't expected to be retained. That's not definitive.
Okay.
That may be definitive in
That's
your
okay.
world, but not to
Okay.
me.
All right. All right. No, I'm not telling you that it's completely definitive what that sentence that you just read me is. I'm telling you that I believe that I've seen sentences that were definitive.
Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
I believe I've read things and heard things that were definitive.
Oh, well, I need somebody to show it to me.
Okay. And I'm driving through the Sixes ranch.
Dude, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. Yesterday, Teddy and Gabe wouldn't touch it because it wasn't definitive. It wasn't confirmed.
Okay. Well, they would know.
Because that's what made me like, oh damn, for real?
I'm just telling you this, though. I'm just telling you this. Everything that he's out, man. He's out.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Well, why are
All
we
I'm
spending
saying
this much
is
time
it's
on it?
not
Why are
it
we
hasn't been there hasn't been a media article,
I got you.
tweet, anything that says Joe John Finley is fired or we're moving on from Joe John.
It feels like there has been, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I misread something or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. We'll see.
I know it's been going on all week, so I don't know. I mean, it wasn't something that was a concern for me because I've been hearing it for
That's what I'm
basically a
saying.
year.
Great
But
day.
he wasn't fired last year whenever we thought he was gone either. So
That's
I
what I'm
get where you're
saying.
coming from.
Yeah.
But I think that the reason, from what I heard, they weren't going to fire him during the Christmas week, and then I think once the end of the month came along, it was known. But I think he's gone. I think he is gone. But we'll see whatever. Anyway, I just think that and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think he's done a good job. I think that part of what happened with Jojon is that he got the stain of Seth Luttrell and what was going on with the offense last year. And I think that people are looking for heads to chop off because the offense is not up to standard. People are looking for heads to chop. Look, whether that's fair or unfair, you know, you can have your own opinion on that. I'm going to tell you this: DeMarco ain't going fucking nowhere. Just so you understand that. EJ, apparently there's some maybe some fire to that smoke because of his contract situation. I think it would be wild to get rid of EJ, but again, sometimes whenever you're struggling like this and you've already fired, a coordinator and replaced him with another coordinator, and you still weren't good. Even though I would tell you, any problem with the receivers had to do with injuries more than anything else, and bad quarterback play, not seeing them wide open and shit. And Isaiah Satania was really good. He had a hell of a lot better season in Oklahoma than he had in Arkansas. So, and I mean, I can think of at least 4 or 5 times that I can remember that I'm thinking, good Lord, he's running all by himself, and John doesn't even see him. His numbers could have been better. So, I don't know. I don't see this as an EJ issue. I think that you go back to, I mean, hell, there's guys that were in the content space that were bitching about Bates and Chavis, or those are close to the content creators I know that were saying shit about Chavis a lot. You get rid of Miguel Chavis, you got fucking problems. A lot of people have talked shit about uh, our cornerbacks coach as well. I mean, do you hear these things and you see these things all the time? You'll see it in the chats. They love to do that shit over on the surge. They kill coaches all the time. But you know, and look, I think it's fair to call them out if they're not doing their job. But we don't know. But like my thing is with the position coaches is why are we blaming them? I don't know why. I mean, the problem that we're seeing is with game planning and certainly there's been an injury issue with some of it as well, no doubt about it, and re-injury and stuff with a lot of these players. I would tell you that when it comes to losing Isaiah Dent, that's a problem that had to do a lot with the medical staff and training. I do think I continue to hear that Schmitty may not be there much longer. So
Got them inside sources, huh?
Chris Mason was talking about it last week for sure, but they've been talking about that for a year or two.
Yeah, I feel like you guys talk about that every year.
I haven't talked about that a whole lot. I've never been of the opinion that it had to happen, but I've also heard some other things, right?
I feel like last year you
don't
were
always
confident
put everything out there. You don't put everything out there that you hear. But I know that there's been some people that have said plenty about that outspokenly. That Mackie and them were talking about it. Hell, Parker and Brandon were talking about the medical team and all that shit.
Yeah, but I'm saying last year I feel like you were talking about Schmitty. They wanted him
Uh,
gone with all the injuries.
I wasn't. No. I've heard a lot more of it this year than last year, but there's always stragglers out there that say that, right? Because they remember back to Lincoln fired him because they were getting a lot of soft tissue injuries, and there was a lot of pushing that he thought, or at least as far as Lincoln felt, that he was pushing them too hard and it wasn't working out. They had a lot of injuries that year to his receivers and shit like that. He wasn't having it. What was that, year 3 when he was, I think it was his 3rd year, he wanted him out. And I'll tell you that, like, there's former OU players that not every one of them love him. Malcolm Kelly being one of them. He hates his ass.
This shit ain't a fucking popularity contest.
That's true too. That's true too.
Motherfucker, there to make you better. You know what I
He
mean?
is.
Make you
He is
bigger,
indeed.
faster, stronger.
He is indeed. But let me ask you this though: if there is truth to what some of the people, because there's a lot of people that are saying that he's not even paying attention to their injuries and like going by the orders of their rehab and stuff like that. He's trying to make it work anyway.
Well, here's all I'll say is in order to adhere to rehab, people need to know about the rehab.
Okay,
Well, that's all. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of it,
I
but
would agree with that too. I think you're 100% right. I think there's a communication
listen,
issue.
a person that has been injured in college football multiple times, like
Sure.
there's been I've multiple times where I had to reiterate. And listen, man, this is New Mexico State, late '90s, right? Probably wasn't the most effective, not like today's college football, right? But
Yeah.
like there was multiple times when I had to explain to the training staff like what my issue was, right? Like, hey, remember I had my shoulder reconstructed last year, like, or a couple months ago. Like, you got me here sitting here trying to do some overhead presses and overhead
It's not
squats and
working.
shit.
Not
Like that,
ready. Not ready.
it's not happening, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Well, I know of a player that
The left
that's had that.
hand, the left hand has to talk to the right hand.
Correct. I would agree with that. I would agree with that, and I think that you know, but you hear a lot of stuff about. To be honest, like Schmitty, calling them, giving them hell about not doing something while they're still rehabbing. You know, and like under doctor's orders to not do certain things,
Yeah.
and he's pushing them, saying you need to do it. Look, I'm not saying that any of it's true. I'm telling you that these are the things that are out there that there's been a lot of talk about him possibly being gone already. I don't think it's a guarantee, but they've been talking about him retiring. I can see that,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard more stuff about the medical team, the training staff. People seem to be happy with the guy that came over from the Saints. That he's been doing a good job, but you're right. If the left hand ain't talking to the right hand, the communication is stopping. Then you don't know. But I mean, you don't know what the problem is. I'll tell you this. I mean, the medical team, from what we heard about a lot last year, that's what we were talking about more than anything because you're losing guys like Nick Anderson. You're losing guys that Nick Anderson they didn't even do an MRI. He had to go get one himself. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
these guys and like Gentry Williams, same injury 2 years in a row because they apparently didn't fix it correctly the first time. You know, I mean, these are all things that have been said out in the open, so we know there was a problem. We heard a lot last year about how they were replacing a lot of people in the sports medicine department, and then it didn't really happen. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where you put that blame. And again, and then you know what? There's the other side of it is how much is too much on hitting and things like that. Whenever you have the science to back up that you should back off of them a little bit. I don't know how much it is that's going on anymore. I, I'm just asking. I'm saying we've heard these things throughout the last few years. There's definitely been an injury problem, and it could be a little bit of everything, but there's definitely some fire somewhere.
Possible. Who knows?
Well,
Who knows?
the amount of injuries tells you something's wrong. So whatever the mix is of who's needs to do a better job, I don't know. And I'll tell you the other thing when it comes to the sports medicine, I think that the same team of doctors largely does a lot of stuff with Oklahoma State. Okie like Cody has told me unequivocally They got the same problem there.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Hey, yeah. Hey, Dave. Dave's here, 9723. I hear Cole Sullivan from Michigan
Hey,
is visiting. Absolute stud. I hope he returns to Michigan. But if not, that's a
Sullivan.
great game.
Yeah, Sullivan.
Yeah.
Been hearing good things about him, man. He is a
Ryman
stud.
Lemming, you're right. You're right, Ryman.
What do you say?
You're right. So you don't even need to worry about it. You just need to know that he's right.
What did he say?
I said opinions are like blank, blank, blank. They all stink except Big Mike's.
Whatever. Ryman's kind of stunk a little bit lately, so. But we all have our
Yep.
moments,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
including
Yep.
Big Mike. Shit,
My shit's fucking on point. On point for the nation, bro. You better
nah,
realize it.
bro. Nah, bro.
On
Not with it.
point for the nation.
Not with it. Who you got this weekend? What do you think's gonna happen? Oregon and Indiana.
Indiana gonna put it to them. It's gonna be Indiana and Miami.
Ole Miss is gonna take a header.
Well, I think Miami's D line is the real deal. And I
I
mean, I
agree. I agree
like
with you. I think there's.
Trinidad can make them look bad, right? Just kind of like he did us, right? So that'll be interesting.
Like
But
he did Georgia last week too.
I think Miami's offensive run game is what it needs to look like. Like, hey, we need a first step. We're just gonna run the ball down your throat, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I like that.
Listen, I think that they have at least a slight advantage on the offensive line, or well, with their offensive line versus the defensive line, they have an advantage for sure. But I'm saying I think that with their defensive line, I think that the offensive line at Ole Miss is pretty good. They've run the ball very well. Kewan Lacey's been really good. Um, but Ed Chambliss is, bro, look how many times it looked like he was dead to rights, and not only did he get out of it, but threw a dart. That guy was unbelievable last week. I don't know how they win that game. I thought they were dead in the water, and then they're not. I think that I can lean towards Miami, but I'm not sure, man. But I think that Miami's yeah, their D line is sick. I like they're definitely the most physical team left, but maybe not by a whole lot because they're pretty physical in Indiana. They're pretty physical at Oregon too. I honestly believe that any one of these four teams could win the Natty. Do you not?
I couldn't say it again. I couldn't hear you.
I think any one of these four teams could win the national championship.
Yeah, that's why they're the Final Four for sure. For sure.
But you can't always say that though in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Coyotes. I'm just saying. I think that because when it comes to, I mean, like, look what Oregon did. They shut them down at Texas Tech. All that smack about how great they are. They've only lost the one game, and it was a tight game. They didn't lose by a bunch to Indiana. Now, I think that here's my one thing that I'll say about that. I think that I don't really trust. I think that it's hard to trust Mario Cristobal for some of the stuff he's done, but and I and I don't trust Dan Lanning because he seems to lose a game or two all the time. He's over for three against Washington and Kalen DeBoer while they were while Kalen was there. He's he's really only won the Ohio State game in the early season last year at home, and then they got blown out by him. And then he's beaten Penn State twice in this year, but I don't know what a big deal of that is. And then you can say, yeah, the quarterfinal game is a big game. Okay, cool. But you play Texas Tech, and I don't know I've told everybody I don't believe in them. They didn't even put any points up. I mean, now you can say if you believe in what Texas Tech was, then you got to give love to freaking Oregon because they shut their asses down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like their defensive line. Their defensive front at Oregon is pretty good. It's underrated. It's unheralded a little bit, but they've got some dudes up there. I mean, their talent level at Oregon is, I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty damn good. But I think coaching wise, I mean, you got to give you got to give the edge to Signetti with the coaching talent. You probably
Yeah.
give it to,
Yeah. Dude, Signetti's a real deal, bro.
yeah, he's a good coach, man.
Yeah, he's a
He,
real
you know,
deal.
you couldn't. He had the same look on his face and the same of intensity and wanting to do what they do, whether they were up, whether it was tied or they were up 30. I mean, he was the same.
Yep. Yep.
It was efficient, effective. They were good, man. They were definitely good. I was more impressed with them and what they did this week than I was against them. I just didn't think that much of Ohio State. So it was 13-10. It wasn't the best game in the world. It was a hard hitting game, but I don't know that you're gonna out hit Miami though. If you get a run into them, shit. But that's what I mean. But the other thing is if you look at the Miami Ole Miss game, who do you give the edge to? Carson Beck or Trinidad Chambliss? You might have a wash with your running backs, but I
Up,
mean,
up front,
I know where I'm leaning.
up front, up front, I give it to Miami.
Up front, I give it to Miami, but I would say with quarterbacks, one quarterback, he's been just okay and he hasn't gotten them in trouble. But we've seen him throw a lot of interceptions and screw up. Yeah, I haven't seen shit like that from Chambliss. I think
Yeah.
he's great. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think
I'd
it's gonna
have
be
to
a good
give
game.
the edge.
I probably lean Miami. I think I probably lean Miami, but it wouldn't surprise. I mean, again, I
I'd
haven't
give the
really
edge to
decided on
Chambliss at
you what?
quarterback. I'd give the edge to Chambliss quarterback play. He can make
No
more
doubt.
plays.
Yeah, as we saw. The last time we had seen that defense for Georgia, they were beating the shit out of Ty Simpson. So,
Yeah.
I'll say this: I give Dan Lanning props for this though. What he's saying about the schedule and that you should be doing 2 home games and that they should be finishing up the playoffs by the first. I don't know that it's doable to do the first, but it shouldn't be the 19th. I think there you don't need a fucking month between games or 3 weeks between games. You do not. I don't. It sounds like there's no way that CBS is going to give up their having the only game on. Period. They're not going to share their weekend for Navy Army with the CFP. I'll tell you that. Or
Bro,
not without it.
they need to bump that shit up, bro. They need to stop.
Yeah. Well,
They need to
that's contracted though. That's a contracted game. That's like, and it's still got a ways to go on it.
you think the
That's
CFP you think the CFP and the NCAA give a shit about that? They will big dog the fuck out of that game.
well. I mean, they don't have to do. I mean, I think they have an agreement with CBS and
Yeah.
the NCAA have an agreement. So, I mean, I don't know that changes anything. I think that the SEC and ESPN and the Fox can say, "Well, fuck yourself," but probably only if they get away from the NCAA, which they should do. I definitely think you're going to have to tweak the system a little bit because you now have Teams with a bye are 1-7. 1-7.
Yep. Yep. Hey man, you gotta get your team ready, right? Signetti's the only
Well,
one
it's
that had
just,
his
but
squad
there's a
ready.
difference between rest and rust, though.
Signetti's the only one that had his squad ready.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, Alabama had played recently, so it just to me, it was one thing back in the day when it was the BCS or even the 14 playoff, everybody's playing at the same time. So if Georgia had a month off, so did Alabama, and so did Ohio State or whatever. So if there was rust, they all had rust. But when you've
Alabama
got
Alabama just played though.
that's I know that, but I'm saying it's 1-7 that teams that got the bye. We're not talking about Alabama. We're talking about the teams that have gotten a bye. They're 1-7, bro, in 2 years.
Oh well, it's official right here that both the Hawkins is committed to West Virginia. Both of them
Congratulations to Michael Hawkins.
both
Congrats.
Michael and Malik, man. Congrats.
Yep. Go kill it. We become West Virginia fans this year.
I wonder if they come
Didn't
to
really see
Kansas.
that coming. Didn't really see that coming. That wasn't on my bingo card at the start of the year that I'd be rooting for West Virginia at some point. And Rich Rod and Zach Alley, twerk fucker. They knew some shit about him.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. They weren't very good on defense this year.
Nah.
3-3-5 didn't really cut the mustard. But he got paid. He got paid. Homie got paid.
Yeah. A lot of payments. Everybody getting paid. Everybody getting paid these days except me.
PAID. So I ain't made shit yet either. I've spent to try to make, but I ain't making nothing yet. Make sure that hey guys, we're like 180 away. We cracked the 4,800 mark. Help us out. Help us get to 5,000. We blew through the new year. Still didn't get there. Man, share the stream, like it. We've got some stuff coming up soon. We'll be announcing it, but I've got maybe I was telling you guys on Friday that there's going to be some changes on the channel, and not exactly sure what all's going to change, but there will be. It looks like a couple of shows a week that I'll be doing SEC content. Um, we'll be announcing more of that coming up here in the next couple of days. But with who
Yeah.
that is, and be a lot of fun. Probably not just covering Oklahoma next year. So
Yep. Trying to get that bag. Trying to
gotta
get
get
the
that.
bag.
Gotta get the bag.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, what?
Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah. They said they were ready to spend some real money on Mike, I guess.
Yeah.
So, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm gonna stop here and get a refill with gas and finish the show here. We're gonna do about 10 more minutes, and then we'll get out of here. So I can look at some. I'll look at some comments, my parts. Oh, perfect. Slide right in.
Hmm. Hilarious. Hilarious.
You guys still got me? Boganowski.
What's up? Sorry, I was reading some shit. My bad. What's up?
We can't have dead air, man. Help me out, bro. Come on. I said I was
Oh,
making sure you still got me because I think I had a moment
uh,
there, a frozen
sorry.
moment.
I had to do some research real quick. This portal shit, bro. It's got me out here like fucking like my kids, bro. I can't get off my phone.
Yeah.
Fucking Portal Combat, bro. I'm out here like these damn middle schoolers, bro, on Snapchat.
I'll be
Oh,
definitely will be rooting for West Virginia this year too. There, Lone Wolf. Thanks for coming in, Ryman. Can't blame the bye for the losses. That's the Ryman. And nobody said it's on the bye. I'm saying that there's a difference between rust and rest, and they're 1-7. You can say what you want. That's a fucking 1-7 record for bye teams. You say whatever you want, but something's there.
dude, listen. We've already gone through this, bro. 16 teams, no bye weeks. Let's go.
I agree. I agree.
Start that shit a week earlier, and then fucking let the portal fucking happen after the fucking season's damn near over.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Well,
like you can bitch about it all you want about the team still playing and they're dealing with the portal. Kurt Signetti in Indiana is on an absolute heater right now. I
yeah,
I
they
would
are.
almost argue that them doing well and then the portal is actually helping them.
Mhm. Did I expect Hawkins to West Virginia? No, it wasn't on my bingo card that he'd be at West Virginia playing for Rich Rod. But I'll say this: what his skill set will work pretty good in that offense that Rich Rod runs. I mean, I like I said earlier, we did talk about this earlier. Um, I look at that as man, Pat White with a freaking good arm. So it could be good for them. I think it's going to be good for him. Him being on the field, but it would have been good for him at Oklahoma too.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I can't mess with the whole thing there, Bishop. I'm not going to redo a page. We're on for 10 more minutes. Is Jason a fan of Rich Rod Mountaineers with Hawkins boosted in? Yeah, yeah. I'm a fan of Michael Hawkins and whoever he's playing for right now. As long as they're not playing Oklahoma, I'm rooting for him. Wouldn't have expected that. That was definitely not on my bingo card list to be rooting for West Virginia next season. So I don't really like them. It's because I drove through. My screen blipped and now I'm parked. It's because I drove under the where the gas pumps were and it interfered with the satellite. I'm headed back to Oklahoma. I was in New Mexico doing some stuff. He's got to get his guys. Let's see. Huge mistake by BB. What mistake? Why didn't Oklahoma sign Caleb Hawkins out of high school? Good question. Don't know. Don't know, Hammer. Um, I'd never heard of him before, so I don't think he was ever really. I don't think they looked at him at all. Now, I
Mm.
will say this: I'm not a huge recruiting guy, so I could be wrong about at all, but I know I usually remember guys that they at least recruited or whatever if there was anything. Turnover machine. Okay. Yeah, the question I was, and again, I was asking the question: do you feel good about going into the season next year with John Mateer? And not number one, Michael Hawkins is now gone in at West Virginia, and again, congratulations to him and Malik. But there's portal guys, portal quarterbacks with talent that they're proven, and we're not. It doesn't. I haven't heard anything about them going after anybody else. Does that make you feel good about their chances to go win an Natty next year? Obviously, Danny Bowling says no. That was Doctor. What's his name there? Brandon Snake. Doctor Sheen. Can't really
That
put that one on the OU staff.
And I will say this though, bro. When Dr. Shin was at the game and like he walked down to the student section, that shit was pretty lit, bro. I give it up to I give it
I
up to
thought that
that,
was
bro.
great.
That
I
was
thought
pretty
that was
cool.
great.
That was
I
pretty
agree.
cool.
100%. 100%. I thought it was pretty good too. I'm at the begging of the video. Eddie, STFU clown. Thank you, Mars. My guy. Not a Mateer fan. Thought you were. Are you still? Hey, hey, Mars. Are you still a Bo Bentley believer? The Mateer clone? Wait, they're pot committed to Mateer. Yeah. Oh, sucker bet Johnny.
Yeah.
Ryman Lehman says, here's the main question I keep hearing. What gives you guys hope that next season will be as good or better? Too many are scared of a step backwards. Yeah, I don't have. Nothing does for me. Because here's the thing. I don't. I think that their defense is still going to be really good. Right? A broken thumb doesn't like get rid of the rest of your mechanics, and you know the mechanics part, the decision making part, the game plan part. Unless I know that they're going to have a different offense that can be run well. I mean, look, I'd feel a lot better if Kevin Wilson was like helping them like push them towards doing a better running game, and like you have more guys that are blocking really well and a kind of a different blocking scheme. We talked about a lot of that. I mean, Big Bogue said it, man. What I would do for a guy to go under center, you know, I don't know that that's going to happen, but I think you could. At the worst, you could get rid of the RPO stuff as your base offensive set because I think that promotes not firing off the football for shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that a lot, but hey, thanks, man. Jason Big Mike catching the Sooner twins. You liar. I thought you didn't watch Catch there, Big G. Jump throw Johnny needs to make a huge strides in the offseason. He's about to be a senior, and I don't see his mechanics in me. But I mean, I have a hard time. The reason that I don't, it's hard for me to believe that or like expect that is because of the fact that he's been with these same coaches for 3 years already. What I mean, he, his mechanics are not good. So what's to say that he's going to make that big of a jump next season? I hope that he does, man. I'd love to be wrong about this. Love it. But again, I mean, if you look at their numbers, they're really not almost no different. The only difference is he had a lot more interceptions than Jackson had, and Jackson had a lot more fumbles than he did.
Dude, Jackson to UNLV?
Oh, Mullen thinks he can fix him? Oh, shit.
That's
But it
hilarious.
is Mountain West. Maybe he'll be better. Me too. Hmm. Would have liked to have seen Hawkins and Como. I bet you would have. Ooh, that would have sucked for us. And Mars is an O'Neal fan. All right, my man. I don't remember that that was the case before, my man. But I'm glad to hear it. Do you think you'll score TD versus UT next year? Seems like you guys are allergic to touchdowns. Fair statement. Can't argue. Can't argue. But horns down.
Yeah, bro, holla at me, man. I got kids home from school. I'm about to go get these kids a late brunch.
All right, bro. Appreciate you coming in. Been going for about an hour and 30 minutes. I'm gonna jump off in a second too.
All right,
But
holla at me.
about to have to go in and go to the bathroom. So yeah, all right, brother. Later.
But
Oh shit. Let's see. All right. Let's go back to this. Okay. What about it? Jackson wouldn't have played with a broken thumb and sprained knee. Are you saying that that was a good thing that he played with a broken thumb and sprained knee there? I mean, they haven't done. I mean, we're talking official words and stuff like that. No, I have not. I mean, everybody's saying that that's pretty much a done deal with him and with Satania, but it hasn't been announced that I know of. He needs help on mechanics too, there, Mister Revenge Tour, certainly. But he certainly needs, yeah, what he's doing, looking over the field. That's part of your mechanics too, though. By the way, see you, man. Thank you. Yeah. I forget the name of this little town. I think it's shit, I don't know. I stopped here last time when I was coming through. Maybe Hinton, something like that. Not too far from like Wichita Falls. He definitely needs to get better at seeing things. I'll tell you that much, guys. Definitely agree with you on part of it, but the mechanics, guys, you can't say his mechanics are good when they're not. They're awful. He loses. He's inaccurate on balls on ball side throws. You know. Mhm. I think it was a bad loss for Oklahoma, but a bad loss for Oklahoma myself. But he can indeed. Yeah, I will. Don't not to worry. Don't mess with them ones. Does it feel like I'm getting ready to make a drug deal? There's a lot of people here, so it'd be tough to do it right now. But they had good barbecue here last time. That's why I stopped. And I gotta pee. Sam Bradford needs to have a powwow with Mateer in the offseason. He can learn a lot. Yeah, I like that idea, Snake. Shocker. That's your thing to say. I will say this when it comes to that. With this record, and I hate saying this, and I really don't. I really do hate saying this. But truth be told, I can't pick Oklahoma to beat Texas until they do and score a fucking touchdown for that matter. Um, there's one loss. I can see you losing Georgia on the road. You should be able to beat Michigan. You should be able to theoretically beat Florida. I think that there's some trappy spots on that record, but honestly, anything short of 9-3, it's not good because they certainly don't have the same type of schedule that they have this year and last year. So, I mean, here's the thing: Will Stein being at Kentucky could pose problems for you. I think that Summerall's really good, and I'm gonna suspect that they're gonna do things very sound there, and he's gonna have some guys. How good they are in his first year, we'll have to see. But I think he's a damn good coach. That's a trapping situation, right? Should be able to beat the hell out of Mississippi State. Um, we'll have to wait and see what Ole Miss looks like. Georgia and Athens, tough place to win. But with this defense, you should be able to win any of these games, but you haven't yet. So you're going to have to you're going to have to be able to put some offense on the board. And Georgia's going to put you in a position where you're going to have to, They're gonna put pressure on Mateer, no doubt. So I mean, oh yeah, I get what you're saying, Ronnie. Yeah, I got you. You tell them, TP. That's possible. I mean, look. Here's what I'm gonna say. I think that there's a lot of good that happens with Brent Venables, but I think that you have to be willing to. You can't just be completely hands off with your offense because you're a defensive guy, and I think that he's yet to kind of figure out the mix there. You know, I mean, they won 10 games, so it's not that damn bad because that schedule this year was brutal. Now, you you need to hold this guy's feet to the fire and make the choices that you need to make. I'm going to tell you that not going after a portal quarterback is concerning. I would not put my job status on the line after what I saw this year. I wouldn't, but that's me. Knowles doesn't run a complicated system. Are you sure about that? It took Ohio State 3 years to be good at it. Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, that's a sucky thing to have to say, but I mean, to me, I felt like this was going to be Texas's worst team in the last 3 years, and probably for the next 3 years. And we didn't beat them, and we didn't score a touchdown. That's a problem. Tough. It's a tough thing. You guys got to quit. You think we're going to beat Michigan at the Big House? Well, eh, Kyle Whittingham makes it a tougher. They're going to be a different football team. They're going to be a better football team, but they're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to play good defense. Hey man, I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Look, that's why I said there's some trapping games in there, but I think you know it's time for you to take the next step forward if you're Oklahoma and Brent Venables. And taking the next step forward is taking accountability for your entire football team. In my opinion, you guys let me know what you think, but that's my opinion. That's just kind of where I'm at. We've been going for an hour and 37 minutes, man. I got to get to the bathroom. I'm about to die here, and I appreciate everybody coming in. But let me know what you think. In there, hey, is this his year that he needs to make that step forward? If he doesn't take a step forward, I think it would have to be a significant step back before they fire him. And I don't think. I, by the way, not calling for a firing of Brent Venables. I want to see him take that next step forward. But you tell me what you think. If you're coming in after the live, leave it in the comments there. But it would be. I'm hoping that things take another step forward. I really am. But GP, you're killing me, bro. That 11-1 shit will never play with me here. There's no way I would pick that up. So when is the crossover video with your West Virginia buddy about the Hawkins duel? I haven't heard from him, but I'll probably get a hold of him shortly and talk to him. It's been a while since I talked to Coos. Putting all your eggs in the basket, betting on jump throw Johnny. Yeah, it's Brandon. It's remember it was Moneyline Mateer, sucker bet Johnny. Sucker bet Johnny. All right, I got it. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys coming in. Love everybody. See you on the next one.